some things came to my mind. And ultimately, it came around the topic of boundaries and letting them go with grace. Not letting boundaries go with grace, but letting people go with grace, letting things, letting problems, letting things that are bothering you, let it go with grace. Now, with it, I do have a guest with me who will jump up from time to time and say something. But for the most part, I'm going to be solo dolo on this unless the other person wants to jump in. And when they do, the crowd gets quiet and everybody shuts up and listens. Y'all aren't going to know who the guest speaker is until they start talking. But with that, the first topic that I have today is the first bullet point is the power of boundaries. Now, with it, I've talked about boundaries before in the past a little bit, but I ultimately really want to kind of regurgitate on things that I have talked about before. So, the power of boundaries are essential for maintaining emotional, mental, and even physical well being. They define what is acceptable in our relationships and interactions, helping us protect our peace. Without clear boundaries, people may overstep, drain our energy, or take advantage of our kindness. Setting and enforcing boundaries isn't about pushing people away. It's about creating a safe space where respect and mutual understanding thrive. Now, have you ever been in a situation to where you'll have an individual ask you things like, what is something that you don't like? Or if somebody did this and this and this, what would you do? That right there is someone trying to test your boundaries. I actually had a situation a couple of days ago to where my son came up to me and was like, "Dad, such and such boy in his class was throwing water on him." I was like, "And what did you do?" He was like, "Nothing." I was like, "Did you tell him to stop?" He was like, "Yeah." But he just kept throwing water on me. I was like, "And then what did you do?" He was like, "I don't know." I was like, "What do you mean you don't know? Like, the boy kept throwing water on you. Did you tell the teacher?" He was like, "No." I was like, "Okay, well, we have a three-step plan. Somebody's doing something." I was like, "Tell them to stop." They don't stop, and continue doing it. You tell the teacher. The teacher doesn't do anything, and the person keeps on doing it. Now you protect yourself. And I'm like, with somebody throwing water in a court of law, that still would be considered assault. So the thing that got me there was I had to let my son know. I was like, you need to stand firm on your boundaries because right now this person is testing your boundaries. Boundaries are not rules. Rules is stating that you cannot do this, you cannot do this, or I cannot do this, I cannot do this. Boundaries are more along the lines of if this happens, this is how I'm going to respond, or I will not tolerate such and such happening. So rules and boundaries are not the same. Rules is more of trying to control something or someone. Boundaries is stating what the reaction will be if this happens, if this continues to happen. Does that make sense? Now, the thing that gets me the most is when it comes down to people and boundaries, a lot of people are very shaky with it. I've noticed in this day and age, a lot of people are afraid to stand firm on what they believe in. There's a lot of individuals, and you may be one of them as well, but if you say that you're not going to tolerate this, but you're more worried about how the other person feels than what is good for you, that right there is how the way that other people act towards you can affect your mental, emotional, and physical health. Because if you are a yes person, to where you're always available for other people and you're always going out of your way for other people, it's really going to affect who you are. And one thing that I've learned in life is when you're not being who you truly, authentically are, your spirit will fight you. It will stop you from progressing further in life because it knows that you're not being who you are, you're not being yourself. And with that, it's going to make it difficult for you to accomplish certain things and do certain things because you're always going to have this guilty conscience in the back of your head. Having these boundaries, you need to learn to put yourself first. Now, it sucks because in the time that we're living in, you hear the word narcissist a lot. And when it comes down to the word narcissist, it often deals with selfish behaviors. Now, putting yourself first is not selfish. I don't see it as selfish because it's the same concept of how are you going to love somebody if you don't love yourself? I mean, you must first look within in order to truly see externally. And what I mean by that is everything that's going on inside of you and going on with your spirit is going to be a reflection on the exterior, your physical body. So if you're running around constantly trying to please everybody while not giving anything to yourself, you're going to be you're going to fall into depression. You're going to be constantly worried about what other people think of you because of the fact that you're so focused on getting validated by others. Now, when it comes down to that validation, that's making yourself available to other people. When you make yourself available to other people, all you're doing is showing them that they can rely on you, that your boundaries are so low, so weak that people can do whatever they want with you. I've been there, done that, not returning. And now I realized as well that I've lost a lot of people in my life just because of the fact that they didn't like that I started saying no and putting myself first. I'm at the point in my life to where all the energy I was giving to other people, I returned all that back to myself. So I'm perfectly happy with going outside and doing things for myself alone. I did an episode in the past where I'm talking about it's okay to be alone, but never be lonely. When you start to love yourself truly and hold yourself accountable on your boundaries, it's difficult for people to come in and try and manipulate you. It's difficult for people to come in and gaslight you because you're standing firm on what you believe. You know what your reality is. You know what you did and what you did not do. You know what you will tolerate. And you don't have an issue with hurting someone's feelings because they want you to do something for them, but you said no and meant it. The power of boundaries. Now, when it comes down to the boundaries, one of the things that fall aligned with that, as I briefly just talked about, was you got to let some things go. It's not always going to be people because we all are holding on to some type of, there's things that we have gone through in life that are still affecting us many years down the line. Now, when it comes down to it, not all relationships are meant to last forever, and that's okay. Letting go with grace means ending relationships, whether friendships, romantic partnerships, or family ties. They're all ships, in all honesty, without harboring bitterness or causing unnecessary harm. This involves accepting when a relationship has run its course, communicating respectfully, and choosing peace over conflict. Graceful endings allow both parties to move forward with dignity and without lingering resentment. I've been told a lot throughout my life that words have meanings. Words matter. It's not so much of what you said, but how you said it. Now, I'm not going to lie. That's where I messed up a lot. It was how I said things. I had no issue with letting people go, but it wasn't gracefully. There was resentment because I would speak from the heart. And when I spoke from the heart, I said what I meant and meant what I said. Now, the issue that I always had was whenever I personally believed that when I spoke, when I thought before when I would think before I spoke, I'm sugarcoating things because I'm now taking into consideration a person's feelings and I don't want to hurt their feelings. So I'm going to reword how I feel and what I mean, still meaning what I say, but making it to where it hits them softer. I was talking to somebody today and I was like, we're living in a world, in a society where people are so used to being talked around that when you talk to them directly, they take it as an attack. I say that again. We're living in a world where people are so used to being talked around that when they're talked to directly, they take it as an attack.
I don't understand that.
So, for example, you know how, let's say you're in the grocery store and you're going to get a piece of cabbage. Somebody will not say something to your face, but yet if you confront them directly, they're either going to play victim or they're going to make it seem like you did everything wrong. There are
Mm,
individuals who will sit here and say things about you and try and make it seem like it was a joke, or either try and make it or either say it's where you're not around, but then when you find out about it and you confront them directly about it, they're gonna make it seem like you're in the wrong by even bringing it up. Or if you call them out on their bull stuff, they're gonna take it as an attack, as if you're trying to belittle them.
okay, okay, okay. I can see that. And I won't. I'll step away from the grocery store because I have that personality where I do my best to invoke positivity
Mhm.
in my conversations. I try hard, really hard, not to go negative, because negativity is a form of, for me, it's anger. You get
Yes,
angry. Yeah. So I try to maintain a positive atmosphere, peaceful atmosphere. And all those times those things are not reciprocated. Is that the right word? It's not received by some. But we're living in an angry society,
we
a
truly
very
are.
yeah, very angry society now. And I think we're being fooled by a lot of things. I'm gonna say I think we're being fooled by AI. So everybody thinks everybody is angry, so you may get an angry response. But
Yeah.
in relation to boundaries, you know, how do you, as a healthy minded person, handle those situations and all situations when it comes to boundaries? I like what you said about, what was it you said? I don't know. But
I don't know what you said, but I like it.
yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting. I'll catch it in a minute. But, when you deal it, you have to be healthy. You really have to be healthy because you may think that someone is crossing a boundary and, and they may be crossing a boundary, but do they know any better?
Mm,
Do they even have boundaries? It's when people live a particular way, especially now, they live a particular way. A lot of people are isolated, and that's about to change. I'm eager to see this. It's about to change. People are having to reassociate with each other. You're
ooh.
no longer home. You're, in your own happy little confinement, your four walls. You have to come out now and
Hmm.
socialize. So, what kind of boundaries are you going to have now? What are you going to allow? This boundary thing is really deep because you talk about there are different types of boundaries.
Yes.
There are boundaries in, I'll use a mother son relationship or a mother daughter relationship, or just say a parent child. There are boundaries. And as that child gets older, those boundaries are not as rigid as they were in the beginning. They begin to get thinner because you're able to talk to them more about certain things and not to either party to be disrespected or misunderstood, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
I find myself crossing boundaries with my adult children that I would not do with them when they were younger. Even 10 years ago, there were things that I would not discuss with them 10 years ago that I would discuss now.
Mm.
Why? Because they're entering into that age of experience. I'm going through this. How did you handle it? Kind of thing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
they're
those were
seeking. Not.
right, right. So you have to know how to sometimes let someone in, not boundaries not to be so rigid. You have to be healthy.
Hmm.
You can't be like, oh, just nasty. I don't talk to you like that. I'm
Yeah.
your mama, your whatever. You don't talk to me like that. Or we can't talk like that. Yes, we need to talk like that. We really do. And even with younger children, there are things you need to talk about. But boundaries again. Boundaries it's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing. But let
Yeah.
me harp on relationships if it's not too much for me to keep talking.
Oh no,
Um,
go ahead.
I heard you say something about relationships.
Oh,
All the ships.
yep.
Okay, let's
Relationships,
talk about the
friendships.
marriage ship. Let's talk about the
Okay.
marriage ship.
Yes.
It's important to. I love what my I guess I can call her my son's mother-in-law. How do I refer to her? My my other granny. No, that doesn't even come out right. Okay, anywho, my son's mother-in-law, whom I love dearly. She has a beautiful daughter. I lost my train of thought because I was thinking too hard.
You said you love what she said.
Yes, and okay. Know what it was. She I was on another podcast with you, and she
Hmm.
brought up dating, courtship,
Mm. Yes.
and she was talking about courtship and how courtship is laid, defined, meant to be used as, hey, we're gonna get married. We gonna marry each other. We are
Yeah.
now in the process of preparing for our future together. Now, before you get there, you need to establish some boundaries. You should be in the dating phase. You're looking to see what's really going on. You should be, but we have a tendency not to do that sometimes. That dating phase really sometimes can be a lust phase. It could be a, a stab and jab phase or whatever the case may be. But if you're looking for a relationship with someone and you're dating them to move on to that next phase of courting them for marriage, then that first stage of dating, a serious dating, you should be establishing some boundaries. And it's not a negative thing, but it's a thing of, oh, this is what I will and I will not tolerate. And that will determine if this is someone you can spend, you want to court them.
Yes.
Now, when you find out that you're dating someone and they're violent, okay, boundaries. Not even should be a boundary. That should be a red flag. Peace out.
M-
Gotta go.
Major.
Major, major, major.
I mean, but then again, you don't
Um,
know what people are into. I mean, what our idea of toxic is may not be considered toxic to somebody else. That might have been something that they saw growing up, so they think is normal.
okay. So they grew up in a boundaryless home.
They
There
grew
were
up
no
in a
boundaries.
toxic environment.
No toxic, no other way around it. A toxic environment that they're gonna spread from generation to generation. I
Most
understand.
likely.
I understand, but well, let's say healthy, because that was a word that I was using before. Healthy people that come from families that did not do those things. The Huxtables, the Huxtable family.
Yes.
Let's do that. So I guess I'm telling my age. But when you look at something like that, you will know that what that's not something that I do or I will keyword allow to be done to me.
Yes.
I will not allow. That's not something I believe in. And I mean, it covers everything from financial, social, how you treat someone in public,
Mhm.
how are they treating you in public, how are they, not to allow yourself to be done that way and to say it. And more so not to just say it, walk away gracefully.
Yes.
Walk away. No, this is not who I am. It's okay to say that. This is not what I do.
And it's it.
And
Go ahead.
we need to do those things in the name of love, in the name of love, in the name of grace, in the name of self-preservation. We have a worth, and it's like we are getting away from our worth, our value, and allowing people to take to do to us anything that they want to do. And I know I was talking about marriages, and there are marriages that are like that too. It's like you have to accept what's going on. Well, if do you really? Is it? Are you the only one being treated like that? But if you allow these things to happen, then you have weak boundaries.
True.
You have low self-esteem.
And they wonder why so many things are going wrong with them, why they have that depression, why they are more susceptible to mental disorders. I'm like, you
Um,
have to keep yourself, you have to keep your mental strong, you have to keep your body strong. I'm like, and I feel that when it comes down to it, if you have weaker boundaries, you're allowing other things to come in and impact your life, which causes more issues in your life, which brings more stress, which can cause other things to happen as well.
that's true. That's true. That's true. Now you said depression. Depression can be organic or inorganic, and I don't mean
Yes.
food. It can be something that that is called medication can cause depression. Internal things can cause depression. External things can cause depression.
Can I double back real quick, because there is a difference between being depressed and being and having depression. Depression is a
Okay.
clinical thing. Being depressed is like anybody can have a moment of sadness, moment of just being
Okay.
depressed, feeling a type of way. But being
Okay.
diagnosed with depression, according to the DSM, I'm like, that's something different. But to sit here
Okay.
and be like, okay, I was a little sad. Being sad and being sad and depression are two different things.
I like that word emotional.
I see. Now, I don't mind the word emotional, but
Hmm.
in this day and age, you have a lot of soft people. So where if you say emotional, they will sit there and feel a type of way as if you're calling them the worst word in the world. I mean,
Oh my
people,
goodness.
yes, people
Okay.
these days
Okay.
will see it as if you're showing emotions. Because
Hmm.
I'm only going to be able to speak from a guy's point of view right now. As a guy, if someone
Okay.
says that you're emotional, that's almost, they take it as if they're, as if you're being called
It's
a
attacking your
female.
manhood.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So
It's
I mean,
attacking your manhood. That's a good point. That's a
and
good
the
point.
thing that upsets me with that, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to get off the emotion thing piece real quick and let you continue talking. The thing that upsets me with that is they say, the way that they imply that is men cannot show emotions, and I do not agree with that.
I'm so sorry. I was holding an external conversation. Yes, I understand what you're saying. And that has been a problem for years, for decades, for centuries, whereas men have been taught to contain their emotions instead of letting them
Hmm.
out. And that does create mental health because you're not allowed to express yourself.
Yeah,
I mean, anything that you do not allow to express itself, you
hmm,
have put it in bondage. You put it in
bondage.
bondage. Yeah, and it's like you putting an animal in a cage and you only take him out when it's for your own for your
Pleasure.
own pleasures. Yeah, they have no life. It's like a caged bird. I like that. Why does a caged bird sing?
Thing.
That
Yeah.
joker free
Yep. Give us
in his
free.
own mind. In his own mind, he in
Fact.
this cage and he's contained in this cage, and that's the only life he knows.
Hmm.
We are
It's
um
almost like it became domesticated.
exact yes, in a bad way. It
Yes.
only knows what it knows, but yet it's happy.
And that's something that I have noticed, and the reason why I say letting go with grace, because a lot of people are holding on to things that have happened in the past. The Art of War, Sun Tzu has stated that a person with depression is living in the past, a person with anxiety is living in the future, a person at peace is living in the now. I mean, I'm
Oh,
sure
you
you
need to
also,
fix that to me. I love that.
I'm sure you've also heard that yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, today is a gift. That's why it's called present. But that's the thing, that right there is why we need to let things go with grace, because as we continue to hold on to things, we're causing more dis-ease in our body, disease, and with that it's going to turn into other complications in our body, the way that our body
Yeah,
works. It's all, it
yeah,
needs to be, all the gears need to be oiled and lubed up to continue moving and function as a team, as a unit, as a squadron. Now, when you have one that's not carrying the weights, which was usually something along the lines of our emotions, due to the fact of us worrying more about other people than we do ourselves, because that's where boundaries comes in. One of the biggest things I've learned with boundaries is you cannot care about another person's feelings more than your own.
well, you should care about how other people feel,
Yes, you
because you
should care
don't
about how
want
they
to.
feel, but you don't want to base your
Yeah,
decision off of, are they going to be okay with this? But yet you're hurting yourself off of the decision by sticking around and continue to get drained and abused mentally, emotionally, or physically, because you don't want to hurt them. So now you're putting them before you. That's the thing that I'm noticing a lot. A lot of people are worried about others rather than themselves. They put others before themselves. I'm sorry, but Angel
okay,
in
okay.
Rent said today for you, tomorrow for me. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to choose me first, because when it comes down to it, when I'm sitting here dying of high blood pressure because of a situation that has happened, are you going to be here to help me in any way? No. So I'm going to remove myself to keep my well-being, because I have responsibilities to myself and to others around me. And I can't do that if I'm worried more about, okay, cool, you're not going to make it to work today and you're mad that I'm not letting you use my car, just as an example.
We have boundaries in. Well, let's go back to relationships. Who now? If this is a marital relationship, that needs what you just said. That needs to be relooked or looked more into. If this is a best friend relationship, y'all been best friends for all your lives, or what? Ouch, excuse me, all your life, or you're best friends. That's something too. You care about each other. There's a bond there. There's a bond, and I
Yeah.
guess you got to look at bonds and boundaries.
Well, we would
But
also have to take into consideration compromise. If we're talking about a marital relationship, I
yes,
feel
it is
I feel that a lot of
a
that comes with
compromise
compromise.
and compassion.
Yes. So it's like, yes, I
But
understand that I'm hurting you. So where can we meet in the common ground? Because I'm not going to let you just do this. How how
first of all, if I
what can
knew
you say what?
that you were that kind, if I knew when I was dating you,
Mhm.
and then we moved into the courting phase, If I had seen that, because when you take a step towards finality, there are changes.
Yes.
Okay. So once you say I do, some people just lose their mind. I do not care no more. They pretty much mean to say,
I like that. I do.
uh-huh,
I do not care no more.
care no more. I
You
do
may
not.
now
Okay.
kiss your problem.
I do not have to pretend to be who I was pretending to be when I was dating you. So all of that
Ooh,
goes,
that's a
yeah.
new
Oh yeah.
topic. All right, anyway.
I bet it is.
Oh
But look,
man.
check this out though. But now in a
Let's
marital
let's let's stay with the letting
covenant.
go with grace, because I the next topic is self-respect and growth.
Okay, I'm
And I
staying
feel like you're
with
rolling into
I'm
that
staying with
one.
I don't know, but I gotta say this because it's
Hmm.
about boundaries.
Yes.
And there's a book that I want you to read. The name of this book is Bait of Satan. I don't know if I sent you that book or not, but I will send it to you because a
Yes,
lot of
sir.
what you're saying has a lot to do with how you internalize things,
Mm.
your expectations of other people. And we have this, we
The
think we
all
have
is
been
minds, the universe is mental.
we have an expectation of people. And that's how we build our boundaries. We have an expectation. We feel like someone wants to hurt us or we've been hurt before, and we
Hmm.
put up a wall, not even a boundary, a wall. And we don't want that person to come across that wall, regardless of who they are in our life, because under all of that, we're afraid that we're going to be hurt.
So I have a question for you, tying into the topic, the bullet point right now. When you are dealing with something like that, how do you let it go with grace?
How do you let the
How do
pain
you
go with grace?
how do you let the pain go? How do you let the how do you let that wall that you built up
You
that's taller than
let
the
it go without hurting the other person that you said that you love and that you know that love you. We tend to hurt people that we love.
now
And
check this out. If we're not talking about a relationship, let's say a friendship or even a companionship, how do
how do
you
you let
how
it
would
go?
yes, how do you let that go with
Um,
grace? Because again, we
with
gotta have tact
grace.
with it. Now,
Forgiveness is a powerful thing. You
ooh,
talk about depression and all these illnesses and all this
mhm,
stuff that we acquire. If we can learn, if we can ourselves and forgive those things that we have found to be offensive,
yes,
and think about the situation in a positive way. Look at things in another way besides looking at it without looking at yourself in the mirror. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes.
yes.
We all make mistakes. So what does stress do to you? What does anger do to you? Stress will cause you to get fat because that cortisol. I can't even get it out. It's gonna build up in your gut. Cortisol is gonna build up in your gut, and it's gonna swell it up, and it's gonna swell it. Is other thing it can swell up until it's got your head about to pop open. It will
Mhm.
kill you because you're carrying it around instead of saying, you know what? Evidently you didn't know what you were doing, or maybe I didn't make myself clear enough to let you know this is something that was offending me. Sometimes we don't say things, we just hold on to it instead of saying, hey, you really upset me when you said that was really troubling to me. Can
Mhm.
we talk about that? That
You
right there is a step into forgiveness, of letting things go.
did I
You
tell you
got to
my new
talk
favorite
about it.
song?
Excuse me.
Did I tell you my new favorite song?
No.
Fuck it
Oh no,
all,
no, no,
don't give a
no,
shit
no.
anymore.
See,
Fuck it
that's not my
all.
lifestyle. For me, that's negative. That solves nothing for me. That solves nothing. Because what I'm saying, truly saying to that is, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm putting you over there in that corner, on that shelf or whatever, and you'll stay there until an earthquake come and knock you off. That's not how you make it in life. You got to deal with stuff. You got to deal with people.
So all right,
It has to be done.
so with it, I have had a situation in the past to where someone very close to me, I had to let them go because everything that was coming from their household, me being the individual that I am and caring for this person as much as I did, and then finding out that this person is not who I remember, but yet at the same time knowing that how the behaviors that the person was showing and recognizing the patterns seeing what would end up most likely end up coming next is I'm going to be labeled as the bad person, as if I was doing all these things and causing a bunch of problems. I completely just shut it down. I had to say, you know what, I love you, but I love you so much that I'd rather see you happy somewhere else. And that requires me not being a part of that, because I don't want to be trying to help a person or even feel like I need to help a person because I care for them so much and they're a part of me, that I am putting myself in a situation that affects my mental, which therefore now will disrupt the peace in my household.
Mm.
I don't
Okay.
So I felt that it was best for me to let the bird free and go and do what it's going to do, allowing me to continue focusing on my dreams, goals, and aspirations while keeping a peaceful household and a level mind. I felt that that was me letting go with grace.
Okay.
So I feel that letting go with grace can look different in different people's eyes, because in the way that you just described it, I don't know how I could come to a resolution with this person, because they're always the victim, so there's never going to be, I didn't see any way of coming to some type of compromise, because when problems arise, I'm going to be expected to constantly listen to it, but I already understand all
Oops, I'm
sides
sorry.
of the, I
Hmm.
already understand how things are moving and have seen it firsthand. So how can I take somebody's word when I know that I've been lied to multiple times already?
By
So
that
now
person or or
by
someone else or
by that person. So now
oh, okay.
I
Well,
don't
heck,
have
you know you got a rattlesnake. Why you trying to kiss it?
So then that's what I'm saying. So me just letting the person go without actually coming to any type of conclusion, it's like, you know what? My closure is knowing that I have peace of mind. That was me letting go with grace.
Okay, all right. I mean, I think that's something that anybody in their right mind should do.
Hmm.
If you in a toxic relationship or you in a relationship where, like I said, you know you got a rattlesnake and that thing gonna strike at you, why you playing with it? Sometimes we love people more than we love ourselves.
And that's
And
what
you
I
said
said
that
earlier.
earlier. You
Yeah.
said that earlier. But you got to think about it. What is it that you want in life? And that's
Mm,
you're talking about boundaries that we don't want other people to cross. What about our own personal boundaries?
that part.
What about our own? Yeah. What about that? What am I willing to put up with in life? Is that a boundary? Am I just gonna bow down to anything? I know that's a standard, but you can look at a standard as a boundary too. Okay, if I'm dating someone and it's pretty darn obvious they have no money, they don't know how to manage money. That's not they don't care about them acquiring money. They care about what you have. Is that something that you want to have in your life? Is that what you want to deal with?
Mm,
That's a rattlesnake.
yeah.
That's a rattlesnake. So, do you love the idea of just having someone in your life and putting up with this? Sometimes we put ourselves in situations where you're gonna get the bad end of the straw, and you brought that on yourself because
Facts.
you chose it.
Now
You
with
chose
it,
it.
I love the fact that you said that, because I want to roll into the next bullet point, because I want to respect your time. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So with it, I have the self-respect and growth, like exactly how you were just stating. You need to make sure that you love yourself and don't. Matter of fact, my mom said something to me before. You can't want something for somebody more than they want it for themselves. And I mean, that right
Amen.
there is showing that self-respect. You got to respect yourself enough to not sit here and let someone keep disrespecting you, you
Yeah.
know? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
self-respect and growth, I'm like, releasing people from your life, it's an act of cruelty, but it's also an act of self-respect. When a relationship no longer aligns with your values, your goals, or emotional well-being, letting go creates space for personal growth and healthier connections. It's a reminder that choosing yourself doesn't mean rejecting others. It means prioritizing your own peace and allowing life to guide you toward better opportunities and relationships. So again, I love you, but I love you so much. I want to see you happier somewhere else, because obviously the way that I am with you is not making you feel loved. And the way you are with me is not making me feel loved, or it's not making me feel appreciated, however that relationship is, whatever type of relationship you are in. So in all honesty, giving yourself that self-respect to say, you know what, enough is enough.
Yeah, I think too.
And then looking back at the situation, understanding that lesson and growing from it. Because everyone who enters your
Yeah.
life is a lesson or a blessing. Everybody who enters your life is not meant to be with you forever. Some people are
Bingo.
there for a reason to
Bingo.
teach you
Bingo.
something.
A
There's
season.
things that you need to
Yes.
learn. And these people
Yes. That's
are
what.
going to teach you these things. Now, are you going to sit here and wallow in what has happened in that situation? Or are you going to look at it, find the positives, recognize the issue in yourself? Because these people are attracted to you for a reason. So you need to reevaluate yourself and understand, what is it about me that is drawing these types of individuals to me? What am I
I can
constantly
tell
doing
you what it
over and
is.
over again to where I'm having the
Yes.
same outcomes? That is
Mm-hmm.
insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over, hoping for a different result. Now, do you want to be ignorant or stupid? Ignorance is not knowing but willing to learn. Stupid is you don't know and you don't want to know. So, are you going to
You take
continue to be
this.
stupid at it? Or are you going to be ignorant? Are you going to be subconsciously ignorant? But then once you realize the problem, you learn from it and continue to move forward. Because our
But
life is honestly like a game of Sims.
Mr. Daniels,
Yes,
can
ma'am.
I
I'm
let me
sorry.
let me call you. Let me
I
calm you
felt
down.
I felt your I felt you. Sorry. I felt the passion
Let me
coming out.
calm you down. Let me go. Let me calm you down for a minute.
Woo!
This is
My
very
glasses
near
back
to
on.
your heart. I can
I knew
tell.
that was coming. Once the glasses came off, I was like, hold up, I'm about to channel.
Yeah, yeah, you about to channel. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. In the book of Jeremiah, there is a scripture, and you can go find it for yourself. He
Mhm.
says, I know the plans that I have for you to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you future and a hope. To give you a future and a hope. And hope. I had it right first time. Okay? One, we don't know who we are.
Mm.
When we see that, okay, I'm attracted, or when we realize we are attracted to a particular type of person, that
Yes.
particular type of person knows who you are, but you don't. Now, that person may need some help, but then guess what? Again, like you said, a season, a reason, not for eternity. They're there for a season, they're there for a reason, but that's not that person that probably don't need to spend the rest of your life with.
That part.
It's something in your spirit, something in your gifting that you are to give to this person and set them free gracefully. Okay?
Yes.
We don't know who we are. And when people are coming to us, we feel like, oh, this is my soulmate. No, boo, that's not necessarily your soulmate. Because if it was, you would not be having the problems that you're having. You don't know who you are. If we
Mm.
know who we are, if we know our gift and we operate in our gift, things would be a lot different. It would be a lot different. A lot of people that we hang out with, they need social workers. They don't need lovers. They need therapists. They may need help with finding a home, a job, or something. They're not there for us to have a committed relationship with. For
Yes.
yeah, for a can I say agape love?
Ooh, that
We love
everlasting
everybody.
love.
Yeah, yeah, but when we deal with people on that level of
Yes.
I'm here to help you, not to love you, then we will understand that that is agape love
And
because
that's
you don't know them. You loving them with the love of God, and God expects for us to what? Love our neighbors,
yeah.
help our neighbors, but it's not that relational love.
Mm.
That is different. That is so different. And again, I have to say, we get ourselves into stuff to where we're not supposed to be in it. And then when it starts to turn upside down, it's like, well, darn. Why am I attracted to all of these needy people?
Why me?
Maybe you're trying to point too. Maybe it's something in you that you're trying to fulfill.
Yes.
Maybe you see that, you know what, that person, the same thing was happening to me. I need to, oh, God has brought us together because you're my soulmate. No, you got to be healthy. You got to
Mhm.
be healthy in order to help someone else, be it as a social worker or as a friend. It's got to cool off. As a friend. And because if we don't, if you said it earlier, if we're traveling down a road and we're having a lot of problems traveling, we got some problems. We're doing something that we're not supposed to be doing.
Facts.
We're not. We are. we can get ourselves into positions where we're not supposed to be into
Mhm.
because of, what we're choosing to do, and how we're choosing to do it.
But hey, I'm a respect your time because I know your food probably done now. But
Yeah, I got somebody looking at me like I want to eat.
hey, so today we end up talking about the power of boundaries, letting go with grace, and
Uh-huh.
self-respect and growth. And you know how I always do. I always end with the gratitude and what you learned.
The gratitude, what am I thankful for?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
thankful for this opportunity to spend with you and to talk about some things.
Aw.
Um, I know we didn't get deep in, we didn't really get deep into it, but I'm quite sure this can get a whole lot better.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, this can get a whole lot better because boundaries are important. So, what was your question?
Gratitude and what you learned.
I know, real man now, real man.
Oh man.
Um, I'm grateful for this opportunity to be able to hang out with you on this platform. It's good to talk and to share to help one another grow. What did I learn? Um, hmm, I'm always learning something. Oh man, I learned that you must have really listened to your mom because you used two quotes that you had written down that came from your mother, and the present, the past, the future. That one came from Kung Fu Panda, but it's yeah, and sometimes people not in they're in your life for a reason. Yeah, I learned that planting seeds,
Hmm.
they do grow. You just gotta water them. That's
Sometimes
what I
you
learned.
sometimes you gotta beat it in too. I mean, I
Some
guess you could
people
say
are
that
like
would be
that.
that would be germination, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, I like that one.
You got to germinate the
Yeah.
seeds before you actually plant them and then water them.
Ah, hide them up under the sink in a paper towel. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's yeah.
put them in a room temperature dark place.
Yeah, true, true that,
But
true.
hey,
That's true.
with that, I I really appreciate it, and I mean, I hope for everybody who listens to this, whenever you listen
Mm-hmm.
to it, that you're able to take something from it, and even if it does not,
Mm-hmm.
even if you know everything already, hopefully you will take this wisdom and pass that knowledge on to other individuals because
Yeah.
we all can learn from one another, and that's the one of the reasons I do this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
I do this podcast and share my life lessons because I've been through a lot in life. I've learned a lot in life, and I'm still learning. A wise man is the one
Mm-hmm.
who realizes he knows nothing. A fool is the one who thinks he knows everything. And I am sit here and I'm
Amen.
like, I am a fool. I
Mm.
am a fool, and I am a fool in the aspects of I realize I know nothing. I walk out saying
No.
I'm not even gonna go in there because that's gonna end up dragging this on longer. But brief thing, I was on the phone earlier with one
Er,
of my homegirls, and I had corrected her because she used the word in a way that it wasn't, and she thanked me for that.
mhm,
And I was like, boom,
mhm,
and I remembered this is why we get along because we both are want to do better. We both want to learn. We both want to grow. So if
mhm,
correct when we get corrected, we don't take it as an attack like a lot of people do. We take it as in you care enough for me that you don't want to see me in the wrong.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
with
That's
that,
called humbling yourself. Yeah.
yes. So with that,
Yeah.
I
Go
am
ahead.
grateful for
Uh,
that. And that wasn't in this episode, but I'm grateful for that. And I also learned that the things that our parents teach us are ingrained
mhm,
in us. It's
mhm,
just
mhm. I'm learning that too. Hmm.
out of our ego and ignorance, we do the opposite until we reach a point and we're like, dang, there's been so many things that have happened that they told me would happen, but I didn't believe them. Now we are at a point to where we're like, my mama or my dad had told me about this, so now you trust
Hmm.
everything that they told you to where you're not gonna go and do certain things because they pop into
Yeah.
your head and you're like, they've been right about everything else. You know
Hmm.
what? Let me take them up on that one. And that
You
is
you
my goal for this podcast. I'm gonna let my kids see this as they're growing up, so they can learn from my lessons, and also other people who are on here, because I don't know
Mhm.
everything, and there's experiences that other people have gone through that they can speak
Mhm.
about that I have not gone through. So I'm learning and growing on a day to day by having guests on the platform as well. So with that, I'm
Mhm.
grateful for having you on here, and I'm gonna
Thank you,
go ahead
sir.
and close this out. So once again, this was an episode of Divine Time. Relax your mind. It's Divine Time.
Hey, beautiful souls. If you love deep conversations about life, love, and spiritual growth, help us reach more like minded people. Like, comment, and share to push these powerful episodes through the algorithm. Let's build a community that thrives on wisdom and connection. Find us everywhere: YouTube at Danli_Divine, Facebook and Kick at Divine Time Podcast, and also follow the blog, divinetime.blog. If you're looking for your soul tribe, join our Telegram group, Warriors of Love. Together we rise. Divine time is now.